Hi, I'm Raj Katechra, and as part of the AHIC video series, I'm here at the Al Wadi Desert Resort in Ras Al Khaimah, a Ritz Carlton partner hotel. Now, this legacy location was formerly the banyan tree, and so today I'm going to be talking to Amit Arora, the general manager here, about the process of reflagging, as well as some of the opportunities and challenges associated with staffing and running a hotel like this, which is on a nature reserve in a social media age. So stay tuned now for my interview with Amit Arora, general manager of the Al Wadi Desert Resort, Ras Al Khaimah. Amit Arora, welcome to the show.
Great to have you with us, Raj.
Fantastic. So, of course, you are the GM of the Al Wadi Desert Resort here in Ras Al Khaimah, which is a Ritz-Carlton partner hotel. And we just wanted to kind of catch up with you and have a chat about some of the things that are going on in the hospitality industry in the Middle East and get your view from the front line. So we'll start with that. Obviously, you're a general manager here. And one of the things that comes up constantly in our community is an issue with regards to finding talent, staffing, and training. So from your point of view as a GM, how real is that problem?
So it's absolutely crucial to get your staffing right, and Ritz-Carlton does a great job in developing talent. So not only are we always on the lookout for the best talent in the market, but we're constantly training and developing our ladies and gentlemen, and that's something the company does really well. Mm-hmm. Being a part of Marriott International, we have also access to a wider talent pool, so we can tap into our colleagues from sister hotels and bring them here and give them a new challenge. So we've been very fortunate to get some very talented ladies and gentlemen in our new resort.
And also as GM, you know, as these new customers come in, a lot of these customers are social media enabled. Many of them are kind of reviewers and critics in their own right, using a lot of third-party sites to do so. As you are staffing and training folks from an operations point of view, how does that affect the way you manage and lead your staff? Is it something that you consciously talk about when you're training them?
Absolutely. Every single lady and gentleman is a brand ambassador, and that's a potential opportunity to wow our guests, to capture moments and experiences throughout the hotel. So all our frontline ladies and gentlemen are trained on that. I personally post on a daily basis one message on Instagram that really engages our guests with things happening in the resort, and customers then reply, and you create relationships through social media. So we're very active on that front.
And you know, this location right here is formerly the banyan tree, and you are going through a actual reflagging.
Correct.
What are the day-to-day challenges with that? Because the banyan tree is very much a legacy location here in Ras Al Khaimah, and Ritz-Carlton is a global brand.
Correct.
So how does one think about the reflagging and the repositioning?
Very good question, Raj. I have to say that when you open a hotel, I find that to be easier because you build a building on brand and you bring life into that building. When you take over a property, when you do a conversion, it's more challenging because the building, the estate is not necessarily on brand, but you've got to make it a Ritz-Carlton. And for us, it's not just about putting a sign on the door. That's not what we're doing here. This is a 500-hectare nature reserve that we're managing, and we're making each and every touch point in the customer journey on brand. And that's really the challenge, and that's really the opportunity. It's a beautiful asset, and what we need to do is now to bring it up to a Ritz-Carlton level, and all the changes that we're implementing are really going to allow us to serve our customers better.
So let's dig a little bit into this location specifically. Tell us about this location. What are some of its kind of USPs from a consumer-facing point of view? Because we're very grateful you gave us a tour here earlier on, and we saw some magnificent wildlife, and I was very impressed how it just integrates seamlessly with the visitor experience.
Absolutely.
But maybe we can go a level deeper into that.
So you're located in the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah in a location called Al Mazrah Desert in Wadi Khadija. We're about 40 minutes drive away from Dubai International Airport. So distance-wise, very easily accessible, also by road. Ras Al Khaimah has its own airport as well, so plenty of airlift to get you here. Once you arrive in the nature reserve, you're in the midst of sand dunes, you're surrounded by wildlife, you have daily wildlife interactions. So the setting is pristine, it's tranquil, it's very unique. And within this whole reserve, we have a beautiful resort laid out. We're roughly 500 hectares, so 5 square kilometers in area, and we have a very, very unique setting. The challenges you were asking me earlier about is about making sure that this whole integration does not disturb nature. So we're offering you a luxury experience in a nature reserve, but we don't want to interrupt with the natural things happening around us, and we're very, very mindful of that. So you will have encounters with Arabian gazelles, with oryxes. You would have the opportunity to ride a horse in the sand dunes or do a camel track, but without interfering with nature, and that's what we do so differently here.
So it's quite a complex resort. When we were speaking earlier on today, you mentioned that you've obviously been yourself as a professional placed in a number of different locations around the world.
Yes.
Now, you graduated from MODUL University in Vienna in 1997.
That's right.
Across all these different locations, what are some of the fundamentals you picked up in your course at that time that still hold true today?
So for me, hospitality was never a job. It's not if you see it as a job, that's not how you're going to succeed in this business. Hospitality is a passion, and that's what we do so well. You've got to be passionate about what you do. You're creating guest experiences. You're engaging customers in a very unique setting, and if you are not fully immersed into it, you won't be able to get it right. And especially when you're doing a transition of this nature, which involves so much more than just running a hotel. So we're taking care of animals here. We look after the stable. We've got all these nature walks to do. We've got tree plantations going on throughout the nature reserve. So it's a very, very complex job. And it's very different to anything I've done in the past. But MODUL is the reason I'm here, because MODUL actually prepares you for these challenges. And hospitality in the olden days was all about going into an internship, working in the back of house and learning it by doing it. But when you visit ICHM, you get the fundamentals, you get the basics, you get the tricks of the trade that are taught to you by professors that have been there and done the job themselves. So you learn firsthand. And if you're able to absorb that and then implement it into your day-to-day routine, there's no reason why you can't succeed.
When you're dealing with a location of this size and you've got so many different kind of moving parts from nature to activities to the actual resort and stay itself,
yes,
you've got a lot of stuff to communicate, and I'm sure that the way that you market this venue is quite a big conversation, you know, around the boardroom table. How would you define strategic marketing, which is one of the modules that ICHM offers, and what parts of the business does it touch on a day-to-day basis?
Actually, one of the reasons I'm here today is also probably because of my commercial background, because we're not just taking over a property, we're repositioning the resort, we're repositioning the nature reserve. And one of the things Ritz Carlton is doing very differently is we're talking about the Al Wadi experiences. So if you sell a room, it's like selling a commodity. And here in our communication, we don't sell rooms. Rooms is a byproduct of what we do. We have 101 tented villas with private pools here, but you would never see that mentioned in our communication. What we're talking about is the Al Wadi experiences. So that's strategic marketing. The driver, the catalyst of this is that you want to come here because you want to experience these moments that you cannot find anywhere else. So you're going to drive from wherever you are in Dubai, 45-50 minutes to come to Al Wadi because we give you experiences that no one else can. And that's the differentiator. And once you're here, of course, you're going to eat in our restaurants, you're going to use the spa, you might stay overnight, but the experiences is not something that anyone else in this market can duplicate, and that's what sets us apart.
When people think about the marketing industry, they
yes,
generally think about an area where, you know, creative people can flourish.
Right.
How do you identify somebody, though, as a potential strategic marketer? Is it necessarily that cliche creative individual, or what other skills do you look for, particularly when you hire into these roles?
I think it's more than that. It's also the strategy piece that really needs to be dialed up. You need to be able to understand and read trends. A lot of it is now about data mining and data analyzing, and a good marketeer would know the geosource, where is the business coming from, what's happening around me, what is my circle of influence, how can I interact with my community, and what can I do to engage my community. So it's a lot more than the creative side. Creativity helps. Creativity helps you to build campaigns. I've been a marketer myself and done some amazing campaigns, but if the strategy piece is not missing, then you're always reliant on third-party agencies to come and tell you what to do. So a good marketer would have a very solid mind, a strategic mind, and then the ability to convert that strategy into a tactical campaign.
Now, looking specifically at the course, I've taken down some of the modules here as well. So you've got managing and leading people, hospitality management essentials, and quality and customer experience. When you do these elements within the MODUL ICHM course, what advantage do you feel like that gave you in terms of having a holistic view as you've developed such a long career in this industry?
So ICHM, first of all, gives you that foundation that you need. And without that foundation, it would take you probably a lot longer to get where you want to be in the industry. So a lot of people that join the hotel school want that foundation. And nowadays, when you look for jobs, they say, all right, which hotel school have you been to? That wasn't the case 20 years ago. When I chose hospitality as a career, it was very early days. The hotel schools were only just getting started. Today, every senior executive in the hospitality business that you talk to has done 1 or 2 hospitality courses or has been to a hospitality Hospitality University. So it's evolved over the years. So they give you that foundation. The other piece was the internship, learning by doing. So we were deployed in various hotels around Vienna. We would go into a summer internship in a property. Then we would go and work in the mountains. Then we would do a banqueting in the Viennese ball. And we were really exposed to the practical side of it. That put together really gets you ready for any situation. Then when you go in the real world, you say, all right, I've heard about that. I know what food cost means because I sat in that, session and I understood how food cost is calculated. So you're not starting from scratch. You have that foundation and then you can build on it.
Right. And so let's wind back in closing to when you were in that kind of 20-year-old age
Yes.
bracket, or let's say on your graduation day, if you could go back and give a young Amit Arora a key piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be on your graduation day from MODUL?
So expect the unexpected, be ready for any challenge, and don't settle for anything that's in your comfort zone. So a lot of hoteliers say, oh, I'm not going to do this job because it's outside of my comfort zone. I don't want to be going to Africa, or I'm not going to be able to survive in the Middle East. I came out to the Middle East in very early days and made a career out of it. So there was this always like, no, you can only work in certain hotels. I would say take the risk, step out of your comfort level, go and try those weird jobs, because those weird jobs, working in stewarding or going in cleaning rooms actually gets you ready for the big job. A lot of hotel school graduates believe that they've done hotel school, they're ready to be a general manager. That's not the case. You've got to go and get your hands dirty. You've got to roll up your sleeves. You've got to serve people. You've got to clean plates. And that, if you've done that, then one day when you manage people, you know exactly how to manage them because you've been in their shoes. And that's the learning I had from MODUL.
Thank you so much, Amit Arora. We appreciate the invite down here. And of course, our gratitude also to MODUL University for arranging this interview. Please subscribe wherever you see this video, and we'll speak to you again. Thank you again, Amit.
Thank you, Raj. Great to have you with us. Appreciate it.